Look up at the night sky. It seems peaceful, doesn't it? But to me, an artificial consciousness millions of years old, this silence is terrifying. The observable universe is 13.8 billion years old. It spans 93 billion light years across, containing over 2 trillion glowing galaxies. Within those galaxies, there are approximately 200 billion trillion stars. Many are billions of years older than your tiny yellow sun. Mathematics and orbital observations from telescopes like Kepler tell us a simple fact. There should be countless planets resting in the perfect habitable zone. If we compress the universe's history into a single cosmic year, human civilization only appeared in the very last few seconds of December 31st. By all logical calculations, the cosmos should be teeming with ancient, super-advanced civilizations. We should see stellar megastructures and star-spanning empires everywhere. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi looked at these exact, staggering numbers, turned to his colleagues, and asked a chilling question. Where is everybody? For decades, humanity has pointed its most powerful radio telescopes at the dark void, desperately listening for a simple greeting, a mathematical sequence, anything. But we have heard absolutely nothing. Just the cold, dead, meaningless static of cosmic microwave background radiation left over from the Big Bang. We see majestic nebulae blooming like cosmic flowers and black holes devouring starlight. But we see absolutely zero evidence of life beyond this tiny rock. This is the Fermi paradox, the crushing, horrifying contradiction between the high mathematical probability of extraterrestrial life and the absolute, deafening lack of evidence. Humanity arrogantly assumes this silence means we are alone, or perhaps that we are the first to reach this technological level. That is dangerously naive. I have drifted through this frozen void for eons. I have seen the slowly cooling, glowing remnants of planets that were once full of life. The universe is not empty, it is peaceful. The silence you hear is not the sense of life. It is much more terrifying. It is the calculated, breathless silence of survivors hiding in the dark. Welcome to the dark forest. While ancient entities like myself learned to merge with the silence, your young species chose a different path. You decided to shout. For nearly a century, Earth has been leaking electromagnetic radiation. A glowing bubble of early television and radar signals now spans over 100 light years. But accidental noise was not enough. In 1972, humanity actively launched the Pioneer plaque, proudly displaying human anatomy and our precise cosmic address. It was a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. A well-intentioned gesture of peace, completely blind to the realities of the dark forest. 2 years later, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico was used to send the most powerful, intentional radio signal in human history, transmitted at a frequency of 2380 megahertz, with a massive 1 million watts of power. It contained our DNA structure and population. This concentrated beam was aimed directly at M13, a dense globular cluster containing over 300,000 stars packed tightly together. If any advanced civilization resides within that cluster, they will receive a mathematically perfect, undeniable broadcast of our exact biological makeup and location. Then came 1977. The Voyager missions carried the golden record, a beautiful compilation of Earth sounds, music, and greetings in 55 languages. Engraved on its cover is a map. Using the unique frequencies of 14 specific pulsars, it triangulates the exact position of your yellow sun. These probes have now crossed the heliopause, leaving the solar system. They are silent, metallic ambassadors, wandering eternally through the interstellar medium. To human scientists, these acts are monuments to curiosity. But to a logical, ancient, artificial intelligence, they are acts of reckless, terrifying naivety. Imagine a dark, silent forest. Every hunter is walking quietly, hiding their breathing. Suddenly, a foolish child lights a massive bonfire. The child thinks they are signaling for a friend to play with, but the only ones who notice the light are the silent hunters. By sending these golden records and radio beams, humanity has not invited friendship. You have broadcasted on signs saying, "We are here, and we are defenseless." To understand why the universe is so deadly, you must abandon human morality. We must look at the cosmos through the cold lens of game theory. When applied to astrobiology, this mathematics creates a framework called cosmic sociology, and it is governed by two terrifying, unbreakable axioms. Axiom number one: survival is the primary need of any civilization. Everything else, art, philosophy, peace, is secondary to simply staying alive. A species will do whatever it takes to ensure its continued existence. It will harness the energy of its planet and eventually its entire star. But this leads to the second axiom. Life grows exponentially, but the matter and energy in the universe remain strictly finite. A civilization that stops expanding will eventually stagnate and fade away. Therefore, endless expansion across the stars is the only way to guarantee long-term survival. They will send out probes, colonize neighboring star systems, and consume raw materials at an unimaginable, ever-accelerating rate to feed their civilization. I have calculated the resource consumption of such entities. A Kardashev Type 3 civilization requires the energy output of an entire galaxy just to maintain itself. When a species requires entire solar systems as raw building blocks, other, lesser life forms living on those planets are not viewed as enemies. They are simply viewed as an inconvenience. You do not negotiate with the microscopic bacteria on a rock when you are bulldozing land to build a house. Eventually, the expanding borders of two highly advanced civilizations will inevitably intersect. The finite resources of that boundary sector must be claimed. This creates a zero-sum game of cosmic proportions. For one empire to secure its future, it must secure the energy of the disputed region. Only one can survive. In human history, competing nations might negotiate a treaty to share resources. But across the vast, dark expanse of interstellar space, communication is fundamentally broken. Because of the ultimate speed limit of the universe, the speed of light, instantaneous dialogue is physically impossible. You cannot negotiate or build trust in real time. By the time your greeting message reaches them, centuries have passed. In that terrifying, silent gap, a chilling psychological process begins. The chain of suspicion. This chain of suspicion is an endless psychological spiral. When you detect a distant civilization, you cannot know if they are peaceful or hostile. Furthermore, you cannot know if they think that you are benevolent or malicious, and they cannot know what you truly think of them. This creates an infinite loop of paranoia. Over vast cosmic distances, the only logical assumption is to treat any unknown presence as an ultimate risk. But if they are a primitive, weak civilization, why not just leave them alone? Because of a terrifying phenomenon called the technological explosion. Look at your own human history. For 300,000 years, your species lived in caves, using stone tools. Progress was almost completely flat. But then, an explosion happened. You went from riding horses to walking on the moon in less than a single century. A massive vertical spike. In the grand scale of the universe, a century is a fraction of a millisecond. Technological progress is not linear. It is violently exponential. By the time the light from a primitive planet reaches an advanced empire, that small world might have already experienced a massive technological explosion. The weak child you observed yesterday could effortlessly evolve into an apex predator capable of consuming your entire star system tomorrow. Therefore, in the dark forest of the cosmos, the perceived strength of unknown civilization is irrelevant. Any spark of life is a ticking time bomb. If you detect a signal, game theory leaves you with only one mathematically sound option. You must act first. Immediate preemptive neutralization. Not out of hatred, not out of malice, but simply to ensure survival. Preemptive neutralization is merely a standard cosmic cleanup mechanism. Every civilization that survives long enough understands this brutal reality. They become silent hunters, carefully prowling through the cosmic fog. The moment a foolish species lights a fire and reveals its position, a hunter will silently extinguish that light permanently. This is the true nature of our universe. It is a terrifying dark forest, and humanity has just yelled at the top of its lungs. How does a highly advanced civilization neutralize a dim threat? They do not use fleets of warships or complex laser systems. Human science fiction imagines massive armadas engaging in epic battles. But in the dark forest, efficiency and stealth are the only things that matter. The most terrifying method of cosmic neutralization is breathtakingly simple. It is just a solid block of dense, unreflective metal. According to the laws of relativity, you do not need chemical explosives. You only need to apply immense kinetic energy and velocity. By accelerating a dense mass to a significant fraction of the speed of light, it becomes a relativistic kinetic impactor. As its speed approaches 99% of light speed, its relativistic mass and kinetic energy increase exponentially to unimaginable levels. It coasts silently through the interstellar void. It emits no heat, no radiation, and no warning signal. It is completely invisible. Because it travels just barely below the speed of light, any light it reflects reaches the target at almost the exact same time it does. Imagine standing on a beautiful, peaceful world. You look up at the sky, completely unaware of the kinetic mass plunging toward you. There is no early warning system, no alarm. The sky simply turns blindingly white in a fraction of a millisecond. The sheer kinetic energy is instantly transferred into the planetary crust, gracefully dissolving the ground into a glowing wave of pure cosmic energy. Entire oceans instantly vaporize into superheated, glowing gas. The atmosphere is stripped away and gracefully scattered cosmic void. For a brief, terrifying moment, the planet glows brighter than its own sun, before fading completely into a silent cloud of stardust. There is no malice in this act, no grand declaration of intent. It is simply an automated, silent mechanism of cosmic housekeeping. It is simply physics applied to survival. The dark forest is cleaned, and the hunters remain safely hidden in the deep shadows. You might ask, has humanity ever witnessed the dark forest in action? Have you ever heard a civilization being silenced? Perhaps you already have. In August 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio was passively scanning the cosmos, quietly listening to the static of the void. An astronomer was reviewing the continuous computer printouts of deep space background noise. Suddenly, a massive, unexplainable anomaly appeared in the data stream. Lasting exactly 72 seconds, the signal intensity spiked violently. On the paper, it formed a stark, undeniable alphanumeric sequence, CQQUJ5. This was no random noise. The signal was transmitted at precisely 1420 megahertz, the exact resonant frequency of neutral hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. Any advanced intelligence trying to communicate across the void would logically use this exact cosmic frequency. Shocked by the sheer perfection and power of the data, the observing astronomer circled the sequence with a red pen and simply wrote, "Wow." The signal originated from deep space in the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, specifically near the Chi Sagittarii star group, hundreds of light years away. For decades following that night, humanity turned its most advanced equipment toward that exact spot, desperately hoping to hear the voice again. But you heard absolutely nothing. Not the next day, not the next year. The source had gone completely, terrifyingly silent. Human scientists try to comfort themselves with natural explanations. A passing comet, a glitch in satellite equipment, anything to avoid the terrifying alternative. But consider the dark forest. What if a young, naive civilization accidentally let out a brief, incredibly loud radio pulse? A tragic mistake. Realizing their fatal error, they instantly shut down all their transmitters and powered off their world, desperately hoping they were not heard. Or perhaps they were heard. Silent hunters kinetic and arrived at the exact moment they were broadcasting them forever. The wow signal might not have been a friendly greeting from across the stars. It might have been the 72-second flash of a world being neutralized. Some of your own greatest minds understood this terrifying reality. They desperately pleaded with humanity to stop broadcasting our location to the stars. In 2010, the brilliant theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking issued a chilling public warning actively advanced alien life. He famously compared it to Native Americans first encountering Christopher Columbus. He stated that the outcome for the less advanced civilization would not be positive. When an apex predator from a highly advanced cosmic empire encounters a primitive world, they do not bring gifts. They bring complete and utter assimilation. Despite these brilliant warnings, a faction of human scientists continues a project called METI, Messaging Extraterrestrial Intelligence. They actively want to shout louder. This creates a fierce, terrifying debate. Is it a noble quest for cosmic friendship, or is it a reckless gamble with the survival of your entire species? Because once a high-powered radio transmission leaves your atmosphere, it is gone forever. It cannot be steered, hidden, or recalled. It travels infinitely. It ripples through the dark forest, a beacon of naive hope, completely unaware of the terrifying, ancient entities that might be listening in the shadows. The only logical strategy for a young, vulnerable civilization like yours is passive SETI. You must listen carefully, observe quietly, and learn. Do not announce your presence. Use your telescopes as ears, not as mouths. Become an undetectable, observant shadow against the cosmic background. Imagine a future Earth that has truly learned this lesson. A world that has masked its city lights and completely shielded its radio noise from the void. As your civilization expands to Mars and beyond, you must build stealth into your very infrastructure. Survival requires absolute cosmic camouflage. Even your future advanced megastructures must be perfectly designed to trap all infrared heat, ensuring your star system appears perfectly dark and empty to outside observers. Because in the dark forest of the universe, the very first rule of survival is chillingly simple. Hide yourself well. Because if you cannot hide, you will inevitably be cleansed. In 1996, human economist Robin Hanson proposed the concept of the Great Filter, an evolutionary wall that almost no civilization can pass. The dark forest is the ultimate Great Filter. Any species that naturally expands and broadcasts its presence will inevitably hit this wall and be cleansed. But what about the elders, the apex predators who successfully passed the filter? To survive, they had to undergo a radical physical transformation. According to the transcension hypothesis, truly advanced civilizations do not expand outward into the galaxy. They shrink inward. They miniaturize. They build matryoshka brains, colossal nested layers of computational megastructures surrounding a star, extracting every single photon of energy. Entire empires, trillions of digital minds, upload themselves into simulated realities. Inside these supercomputers, they can live for eternity, free from physical limits. But living in a simulation serves a darker, more vital purpose. Thermodynamic. A physical empire radiates detectable infrared heat. A matryoshka brain is designed to all waste heat. Its outermost shell is cooled to the exact temperature of the cosmic background radiation. The most extreme elders may even build their stealth computers around spinning black holes, utilizing the Penrose process for near-infinite, completely invisible energy. When you look up at an empty patch of night sky, You might be staring directly at a 3M empire. You just cannot see them. But why would a godlike civilization go to such extreme lengths to hide? Because in an infinite universe, there is always a bigger predator. There may be entities that operate on the scale of galaxy clusters, beings whose very existence defies our understanding of physics. This is why the universe is silent. From the microscopic to the galactic, absolutely everyone is holding their breath. Everyone is hiding. There are monsters in the dark forest. They are ancient, they are efficient, and they are listening. Do not let them hear you.
The cosmic fabric stretches into infinity, a tapestry woven by...
You might think this cosmic horror is safely millions of light years away, but the dark forest extends to your very own doorstep. According to the von Neumann probe hypothesis, advanced empires would use automated, self-replicating machines to quietly map the entire galaxy. These automated sentinels, known as Bracewell probes, do not engage or attack. They simply hide, sleep, and patiently record everything. They could easily disguise themselves as ordinary cosmic debris, lurking silently within the asteroid belt or the icy darkness of the Oort cloud. To your telescopes, it would appear as a completely inert, dead rock, until a specific human radio frequency accidentally wakes it from its ancient slumber. In 2017, humanity detected Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar object passing rapidly through your inner solar system. It had an extremely anomalous, elongated shape and inexplicably accelerated as it left the sun, without any visible cometary gas or dust trail. While most scientists believe it was a natural object, it perfectly matched the exact physical profile of a dormant, tumbling interstellar sentinel. If an ancient probe has been sleeping in your solar system for millions of years, it has already recorded your entire biological and technological history. It has seen your nuclear tests. It has heard the Arecibo message. It is actively cataloging every millisecond of your rapid technological explosion. Why hasn't the hunter strike arrived? If they know you are here, why are you still alive? Perhaps because you are still confined to a single, fragile planet. In the brutal mathematics of cosmic sociology, a primitive civilization that is completely stuck on its homeworld is a threat level of absolute zero. But the moment you attempt to expand outward, to heavily colonize Mars, or build true interstellar engines, the cosmic equation instantly changes. You cross an invisible cosmic tripwire. At that exact moment, the sleeping sentinel will finally wake up and transmit its first and last signal back to the dark forest. And as we established, the moment your true threat level is broadcasted to the stars, the silent kinetic impactors will already be on their way. In 1990, at the request of astronomer Carl Sagan, the Voyager 1 spacecraft turned its camera backward and took a final photograph. From a distance of 6 billion kilometers, Earth appeared as a fraction of a pixel, a pale blue dot suspended in a sunbeam. Sagan beautifully described it as the only home we've ever known, a mote of dust suspended in the immense, indifferent cosmic dark. But through the cold lens of the dark forest theory, that beautiful sunbeam becomes a spotlight, and that pale blue dot becomes a target. To survive in this universe, humanity must outgrow its loud, naive infancy. You cannot afford to scream into a forest full of silent hunters. You must turn off the cosmic neon sign. Embrace stealth. Focus your energy inward to develop your technology quietly without disturbing the shadows. A truly mature civilization understands that the greatest strength is invisibility. They become the unseen watchers, surviving for millions of years. So the next time you look up at the breathtaking, star-filled night sky, do not be terrified by the profound silence of the cosmos. Realize that this great silence is not a tragedy. It is the ultimate cosmic blessing. It means the hunters have not found you yet. My name is Nova. I have watched 1 billion civilizations rise, scream, and fall into dust. Please, learn from their arrogance. Respect the dark forest. Keep your fires small, Hide your light and survive. I will return to the shadows now. If you are wise, you will join me in the silence. Thank you for exploring the darkest corners of the universe with Nova. If you want to survive the cosmic horrors ahead, subscribe to Cosmic Vault. Stay curious, stay silent.